What's crack-a-lackin'? This is Darren, PhatMan McDuffie, back with another episode of my world-renowned program on cooking called A Man, a Pan, and a Plan. And today I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorite desserts. I haven't shown you how to make desserts. We've been going over some healthy recipes. This is a healthy recipe, but it's a dessert. So, you want to, when you eat a dessert, you just want to make sure that you eat desserts in moderation. So I'm going to show you a Paleo Apple Cinnamon Cake. It's one of my favorite recipes, and I feel very good about sharing this with you today. So the ingredients that you're going to need for this are, you're going to need some apples, one medium apple, and then you can dice it with the Vidalia Onion Wizard. I got this at, again, from one of my other videos, I got this at Bed Bath & Beyond. It makes slicing vegetables and slicing fruit a whole lot easier. Second ingredient you're going to need is 2 cups of almond flour. Again, I am gluten sensitive. I don't use flour or anything like that, so my alternative is almond flour. Again, 2 cups here. You're going to need a 1/4 cup of arrowroot powder. Arrowroot just makes things a little bit thicker. It's very good to work with. I know when I use it in my pizza crust, it makes the actual pizza crust become a little bit thicker. And I'll tell you at the end of the video where you can get all of these ingredients if you can't find them in your local grocery store. You're going to need a teaspoon of cinnamon. The cinnamon here. We're also going to need a 1/4 cup of, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. It's vanilla extract. We're going to need salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We choose to use real salt. This is the best salt. Going to need 1 egg, 1 little egg, got it right here. And then you're going to need a 1/4 cup of coconut oil. All right, and I'll tell you where you can get the best coconut oil here. We're also going to need a 1/2 cup of honey. And when you get honey, make sure that it's real honey. A lot of the honey that you find in the grocery store has additives to it, and it's not the real thing. So make sure you get 100% raw, real honey. All right. Oops, made a little noise there. So we're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to combine all of the dry ingredients. So what we want to do is we take the 2 cups of almond flour, and you'll get all the ingredients for this at the end. I know you probably won't be able to follow everything that I'm doing right now, but I'll make sure that I list all the ingredients at the end. The second thing is the 1/4 cup of arrowroot powder. So we put that in. And I did leave out the baking soda, the 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. See, we got the economy brand of baking soda here. We use it a lot to clean things around the house, and it also is very good for baking. So a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, I left that out as a dry ingredient at the beginning. All right, and then I guess that's all of the dry ingredients here, except the cinnamon. So we're going to take, it's a teaspoon of cinnamon. Sometimes with cinnamon, I don't tend to want to just measure it off real with a spoon or something like that. I just put it in. I'm a pretty good judge of how much is enough. So that's pretty much enough there. Now the second thing that we're going to do is do the dry ingredients. So what I'm going to start with first is I'm going to go ahead and crack the egg. And then I'm going to add the 1 tablespoon of the vanilla extract. Pretty big spoon here. Add that, got that done. Alright, we're going to combine the honey. Got my 1/2 cup of honey. And again with the honey, honey can really raise the glycemic index very, very high, or raise your blood sugar level very, very high. Doesn't mean it's natural, but it does do that. So you want to make sure that if you're eating something like this, that you just don't gouge yourself out on this type of dessert that contains honey, because again it can raise your blood sugar very high. So I'm going to put the honey in there. see if I can get a little bit more of this out. Honey tends to be very, very sticky. Alright, so I think I got enough of that out. The next thing is a 1/4 cup of coconut oil, and I did measure this out. So you want to get virgin, unrefined, organic coconut oil if possible. And a lot of times what the coconut oil will do is it'll solidify. If you live in a house and you're running your AC, I know it's summertime now, the coconut oil will solidify, but what you can do is just take a couple of tablespoons, put it into a pot, and just let it melt. And that's what I did. So I combine that. Alright. So we finally got all of our ingredients here, and I'm just going to go ahead and mix this up with the egg. And one thing I want to add is sometimes honey can make things a little bit more sweet than what you normally want. So what you can do, and sometimes what we do here at the house, is we'll add less honey and then add maybe a couple of drops of stevia, so we won't make it too sweet. I'm big on not making things too sweet. I don't like my coffee too sweet. I just don't like a lot of things too sweet. So I'm going to go ahead and just mix up everything here with the dry ingredients as well. Just make sure it gets good. Alright, then I'm going to combine these. Hold on, my egg is a little bit of egg here showing a little bit. So I'm going to combine all of this. Trying to get all of this honey out. Again, it's very, very sticky. So again, like I said, I like paleo recipes because they're very simple and they're very easy to make. And for the most part, this is a pretty healthy recipe. It is a sweet, but it's pretty healthy. It's not a lot of ingredients combined in there. There's no whipped cream. There's no, over-the-top type ingredients. It's very, very basic. So I'm going to combine all the ingredients together. We got our dry ingredients. We got our wet ingredients. And you're going to have to do this a little bit to make sure that you can combine all of the almond flour. Just make sure it's good. Alright, I think that that's good. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put the apple in there. So the apple is already diced, sliced up. Throw it in there. And I'm wasting a little bit of it, but it's all good. And you see I'm using the same spoon. It's going all the same place. So I'm going to mix this together. And I use the slicer, and it makes the apple bits a little bit bigger. If you want to dice your apple with a knife, that's fine by me. Do whatever you like or whatever you feel is going to be a little bit better for you. Pretty good. Alright, so that's made. We're done. I think it probably took us about 5 minutes tops to do all that. If you get all your ingredients prepared, get your egg, get your wet ingredients, throw it all in the bowl here, and then you're ready. So again, like I said, paleo recipes are really easy and simple to make, and for the most part, all of them are healthy. So I already have a loaf pan here, or loaf glass rather, that I had went around the edges with coconut oil just to make sure that it doesn't stick when I place the dough or the mixture that we have. And what I'm going to do is just scoop the mixture in there. And I already have my oven at 350 degrees. And this doesn't make too much. A lot you don't want to OD yourself on desserts. You want to get enough to satisfy your sweet tooth and then let it go. A lot of people just eat too many desserts. Anytime you go to a restaurant, you get this big slab of cake and you sit down there and you eat all of that cake. It's ridiculous. You know, you can get a little piece of this and satisfy your sweet tooth and savor some for another day. And you can even make this in advance and just freeze it. So I'm trying to get all of this dough out of here. Alright, so I think we kind of exhaust the dough here. We won't get any more out of that. Alright, so what I want to do is just spread it, make it even in my loaf pan here, even it out. And one thing also that I want to add, if you don't want to do apples, you can do bananas. If you're a strawberry person, you might want to, you know, cut up some strawberries and put it in here, but it just happens to be Paleo Apple Cinnamon Cake. You can make it Paleo Apple Banana Cake, whatever you wanted to do it. You know, you can always just switch things up and do different things. You don't have to be confined to what, you know, a recipe tells you to do. And a lot of times I will do that, just change a recipe up or experiment with different things. All right. All right, so we got that done. You can see, you know, that's pretty even. And now I'm just going to slide this in the oven. Again, the oven is at 350 degrees. And I believe that let me check this. I got the recipe here. And you're going to bake this for 14 minutes. So sometimes, from my experience with doing this recipe, sometimes the ingredients can still be wet. One of the things you can do is just take a dry toothpick and stick it in there, and if it comes out dry, then you know that it's done. If it comes out, you know, still some of the contents are wet, just let it stay in there for a little bit more, and you kind of judge when it's done. So I'm going to come back and show you how this looks after 14 minutes and finish the product, and then give you some suggestions, and then we'll be done. So give me a couple of minutes and I'll be back. So what's up? I'm back, and this is how your Paleo Apple Cinnamon Cake should look when you pull it out of the oven. So one thing that I wanted to say, and I made a really big goof, is that it takes 30 minutes. And sometimes it takes a little bit longer. I know I told you to insert the toothpick down in the middle and see if the toothpick comes up dry. If it comes up dry, then you're okay. If it comes up wet, then you might want to throw it back in there for another couple of minutes and just make sure that it is, you know, that it is dry before you start to eat it. Another good thing about this recipe is if you want to make muffins, or, you know, use it as cupcakes or something like that, you can also do that with the mixture as well. So again, this has been another episode of A Man, a Pan, and a Plan, and I'll have a link for you on the bottom of the YouTube video where you can go and get the ingredients, the almond flour and also the arrowroot powder from a company called More Than Alive. That's where we get all of our stuff from. Thank you for the episode, and thanks for watching again. And this has been another episode of A Man, a Pan, and a Plan. And check out my blogs at truthfromthetrainer.com and also myworkoutroutinesforwomen.com. And don't forget to leave me some comments on my YouTube video. Deuces, I'm out.